Hello, welcome to Tejedoraknits. My name is Gladys. I am a knitter based out of Southern Nevada here in the United States, and welcome to my little knitting corner of the internet. So today we're going to be chatting about everything that has been on and off of my needles over the past 3 weeks. So podcast episode number 14. So in the past 3 weeks, I feel like I have been drowning in gift knits. I'm almost done. A couple of WIPs that have felt eternal up until this point. I do have a small acquisition to share with you as well, so let's just get right into it. So first off, the context update. So the past 3 weeks have been so busy. Please pause. Okay. So the past 3 weeks have been so busy. Lots of activities going on because the weather has been, I wouldn't say fall, but it's been nice. It's been in the 70s. We are still not in sweater weather, even though I'm filming this in November. What day is today? Like the 4th, I think, of November, something like that. So still not in sweater weather. I am wearing my t-shirt. This is the Movement Tee by Lily Kate Makes. I have made it in Pearl Soho Serif cotton. So waiting for the temperature to drop. Hopefully next week we should be in the 60s. So hopefully the next episode or video that I film, I might actually be able to wear a real sweater, which is very exciting for me. There have been weeks that work has just been so busy. Life has been really busy. So there are days that I've just been so exhausted that I just can't fathom picking up a knitting needle. So some things have gotten more progress than others, but I still think I've gotten quite a bit done as per usual, even though I feel like I haven't spent as much time knitting. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 like small projects that I have finished. My 2 garments are still, like I said, the eternal WIPs, but let's get right into the finished objects. The first finished object that I have here are a pair of socks. These are inspired by the Camillia fiber vintage yak stripes sock. I don't know, I always forget the name, but it's not, I didn't purchase the pattern, I just made mine inspired off of it. So it is using a strand of mohair to create a contrast for the stripes, heel and toe. So for my main color, I used Retrosaria Rosa Pomar Mondim. I think this is probably their natural or undyed color. I have a big cone of it, so I don't remember the color name, or I don't have the color name listed on there. And then the mohair that I used is a scrap of Knitting for Alla soft silk mohair in the color Deep Petroleum Blue. So I made mine a bit shorter at the ankle. That's just how I prefer my socks. In retrospect, I wish I would have made it a smidge longer, but that is okay. So I have the little stripes here on the cuff. The heel is a German short row heel. It's the first time I've made that heel construction. So far it's fitting pretty well, but I do want to continue trying out more heel constructions. I've only ever done the heel flap and gusset, and now this is my first time doing a short row heel. It does have some 3x1 rib at the top, and then just like your classic toe at the bottom. I have found the sweet spot for my leg foot measurement, which is 60 rows. So it makes it a lot easier for me to have symmetrical socks. So I'll be doing that moving forward. So these fit really nicely. These are a non-superwash yarn. It does not have nylon, but the soft silk mohair does provide a lot of extra sturdiness or stability. So I think that they'll wear pretty well. I will be continuing to save little scraps of mohair to add to the heels and toes of my socks, because I don't always use sock yarns with nylon in them. So I think this is a nice little way to reinforce them. They fit really well so far. Hopefully next week I'll get to wear them for a full day once it cools down a little bit more. But overall, this is a lovely project. It took me 26 days, so just a little under a month of having him on and off of my needles. I did a mixture of tiny circulars and DPNs. By the time the second sock came around, so the first one, I did DPNs for the cuff and foot, and then, oh no, sorry, tiny circular, my brain is computing. I did tiny circulars for the cuff and the leg of the foot and then DPNs for the heel turn and the toe. But by the time the second sock came around, my hands were a bit sore from other reasons that we'll go into. So I just did the whole thing on DPNs. I kind of want to try the flexi flips now that I know that I like using DPNs for my socks. So I'm curious, maybe eventually I'll try the flexi flips and see how those go. It's, as far as cost, it's kind of hard to figure out a cost for these because I used a bit of a huge cone that I had. And I didn't want to go into the nitty gritty of measuring the grams of the cone and calculating the price proportional. That's too much work. And the mohair was a scrap. So essentially these were very affordable. I'll just put it that way. Because I think the entire cone cost me like $30, $35, something like that. And I will easily get many, many pairs of socks out of it. This is a 51 gram sock, including the mohair. The mohair, because it's so small, it's hard to get an accurate measurement on my scale, but I used anywhere from 4 to 5 grams of mohair. So super small amount, especially if you're even, like if you're using it as a reinforcement without stripes, I think tiny little bits of mohair can go a long way just to reinforce your heel socks. So with 51 grams of yarn, so I'm assuming just about 46 of the fingering and 5 of the mohair, give or take. And I did make a 57 stitch sock. So that's all I have to say about these socks. Let's move on to more of my headbands. As mentioned in my previous podcast, I am making headbands for my friend group from work. So I need to make 5 headbands for them. There are 6 of us. I wanted to make one for myself at some point, but I cannot fathom trying to do more headbands than necessary for this. So I had 2 finished headbands in my previous podcast. I have another 2 here to share for you. So I have pink and red. Well, here we go. I have pink and red here to talk about today. I'll keep it brief because I know I've talked about these headbands a quadrillion times at this point. So these are the Griottes Headband by Audrey Borrego. It is a free pattern. Let's talk about this pink one. This is the only one that I actually purchased yarn for. All 4 other of the headbands I used from my stash. But this one is for my friend Chelsea. She loves pink and I do not have any adequate soft enough pink yarns in my stash. So I got a skein of Ruby and Rose's Rose something. I don't remember the name of the base. It's the DK base that has nylon in it. So it's a 15 nylon 85 superwash merino. The color's beautiful. As you can see, vivid, bright, punchy pink. It's called Free Spirit. It was from the Downton Abbey collection. This one was discounted because it does have some orange flecks throughout. I don't know if you can see them on camera, but there are a couple little orange flecks, nothing crazy. It knit up well. I do not like this yarn base. This is one of the yarns that feels really squeaky and somewhat plasticky. And I've never had that issue with other yarn bases from Ruby and Roses that I've tried. So yeah, this one was very slippery, very slicky, I just didn't enjoy it. It is very soft, so I think it'll work up perfectly for the purpose of, it'll be very comfortable to wear. But this isn't a base of hers that I would use again. So especially if you're not a fan of, squeaky superwashes, this one is not for you. Again, all her bases are named after roses, so I don't know if this is Rose DK or if it has a different rosy name, but it's the superwash with nylon DK weight. So it used up exactly 50 grams. I have 50 left over. Not sure what I'll do with this. I'm sure it'll have a purpose at some point in time. But yeah, the only other thing about this one is that I added an extra twist because Chelsea does have a little bit of a larger head, which is perfectly fine. So yeah, this is headband number 3. And then headband number 4 is this bright red one. This is for my friend Jennifer. She requested either red or green, so red it is. I used leftovers from my tomato sweater that I made. So this is Explore Knits and Fibers linen sock in the color Heirloom from their Farmers Market collection. So these were purely leftovers that I had. This one I skipped the diamond and the bauble motif just to switch it up a little bit. So this one is all ribbing and cables. So this one worked out perfectly well. This one is a fingering weight held double, so it is a bit heavier. This one did use up 58 grams actually, so it does feel quite a bit heavier than the other two. I think it's just from the nature of holding fingering weight double versus a single strand of DK, but no qualms with this one. The pink one took me 9 days and this one took me 6 days. So these are what I'm kind of taking as my lunchtime project on the days that I actually get around to taking a good lunch, because that has also not been happening very frequently in the past few weeks. But I have managed to get these done. So I just have just one last headband to go. It's going to be a beige one. That is for my friend Guadalupe. I'm so ready to be done with these headbands. I'm almost there. So enough talk about the headbands. Let's move on to the next gift knit. Okay, and also apologies if I talk very fast. I know, I'm sorry, I can't help it. You could always slow down the audio on the little gear thingy if that's comfortable for you, but I'll try and at least take some deep breaths while I'm talking. The last finished object and part of the gift knit saga is my third citrine beanie. So I made matching beanies for my brother and his girlfriend. These are the citrine beanies by Vert knit. I made a third one for my dad, but that's a different yarn. That's not the matchy one. I just finished this one last night, so I blocked them both together. They're still kind of wet, so they need to go back on the boards after this video, but I just wanted to include them in the video and just be done with these. Lovely pattern. I've mentioned it in the past 3-4 videos at this point, how much I love it. So y'all know that I already love it. So this, for my brother, I made a size 3. For his girlfriend, I made a size 2. I was intending to make a wide brim for both of them, but I think I must have not listened to the instructions at some point. I think I ended up accidentally making a narrow brim for her instead of a wide, which is okay. Like I said, it's been a few weeks. I finished this one yesterday during my lunch break, so I probably wasn't paying a ton of attention, but I think it's still perfectly beautiful. The yarn that I used is the Explorer Knits and Fibers Earthy DK, which is their non-superwash DK weight yarn in the color Contemplation. As you can see, a beautiful like texture, not textured, it just has a lot of depth to it. It has some lilac-y undertones. It is a beautiful color. I haven't weighed how many grams this took me because it's still very wet. So I might add that back in the editing screen if I have that here. I'll include how many grams it took me, but I don't think very many. If I had to guess, I'm going to say 65. I'm going to go with 65. Let's see how close I get to that. So I do have a good bit left over. I would love to include that as a stripe in some sort of stripy sweater at some point in time. But yeah, these are a lovely project. I had such a beautiful time. Cost for this one, $24.50, because the skein of yarn cost me $22 or $24. I think it was $24. So $24 plus $2.50 for the pattern because I split it into 3. So this gift set is almost ready. I think I'm just going to include a little restaurant gift card for them, and I am checking off my gifting boxes. So those are all the finished objects that I have to talk about today. No garments, but let's get into the works in progress so we can talk about the garments. So I promise you that this is the very last time that you will see my Candelaria blouse as a work in progress. I am determined to finish this. I am determined to finish this. I am sick of having this on my needles. This has been such a labor of love. Holy moly. A fingering weight colorwork blouse. I mean, I feel like maybe not so much the fingering weight is what's made it difficult, is this yarn is very, I don't want to say difficult to work with. It just requires a lot of TLC. It is a very slippery, kind of sort of splitty yarn. This is the Woolberry Fiber Co. Linen Berry or Berry Linen Base, which is 50% alpaca, 25 silk, and 25 linen in a fingering weight. So it is a bit of a finicky yarn to work with. I'm sure the end product will be so worth it, but and also this has turned very much into I'm trying to trust the process, because I know that this yarn will transform a lot with blocking. I know it's going to grow a lot all three of the fiber compositions grow a lot. So it's hard to see the final vision when I know it's going to change so much. So from last time that I saw you, I finished the body. I did the ribbing. It has a split hem. So it has a 3 inches of split hem. One ended up a lot longer than the other. Not sure what happened there, but I don't care. And then I completely finished a sleeve. It has 3/4 length sleeves. It has this beautiful little center double decrease line going down the middle, and also a split hem or split cuff for the cuff here, another 3 inches. So let me try this on. I started picking up the stitches for the other sleeve and didn't finish. So let me see if I can try it on around that. So here you go. So the split is a bit high. I actually added 2 inches of length before splitting. The color work is looking really nice. I forgot to mention the contrast color is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color Olive. I think the sleeve, it's a bit bubbly at the top, but I think that'll kind of smooth out. I do hope that it'll grow lengthwise quite a bit with blocking. Just wearing some sporty shorts right now. This is quite warm, so I know that this is sort of intended to be a summery yarn. There's no way that I could use this as a summery yarn. This is very warm for me. I think it's time to take it off, but yep, this is where it is at. Okay, well, my hair got a little frazzled after that, but that is, I think this is a fair amount of progress. I hadn't finished the body last time we had spoken, and then a complete full sleeve. Given, you know, they're short sleeves or 3/4 length sleeves, it did work up a bit faster, that's the point. So just one more sleeve. So like I said, I will be finishing this sleeve in the next 10 days, hopefully. So next podcast, I promise you this will be a finished object, if nothing else. This will be a finished object. It's been on my needles for 2 months already and I'm done. And I think this is really much the season where I could wear this, especially as it will cool down in the next week or so. So I'm kind of excited to wear it. I hope that blocking really just makes this piece shine and, you know, smooths everything out. So that is what I have to say about the Candelaria blouse, which will be a finished object. I have to say that for the 4th time. And my next work in progress that has also felt quite eternal. This has been a saga, and this is my Beatrix cardigan. So last time we had spoken, I had just finished the body, so I was going to start the sleeves, and boy oh boy did these sleeves give me a run for my money. So first time around, I did the sleeves as per pattern, and then I was about 2/3 of the way down and I realized like this isn't gonna work out. I had completely missed out on the fact that this is a very oversized cardigan, so the saddle shoulder is supposed to drop a lot further down, so creating for a shorter knit sleeve. I am not doing that. I'm going a bit smaller, so therefore my sleeve length, I don't have as much dropping over the shoulder. My sleeves need to be longer, so I didn't realize that in time, and I had done that sleeve throughout pretty much one Sunday afternoon. And I think it was the combination of the stitch pattern with the smaller circulars, I think I was using 12-inch circulars, that it just caused me a lot of hand pain. So I was bummed that 1, I was gonna have to rip out the entire sleeve, and 2, my hand was in pain. So that was a bit to come back from. So I unraveled the sleeve. I had to take a break for a couple days because, like I said, the hand pain was actually pretty bad. It was worse than I had thought it was in the beginning. And then at that point, the folks over at Bob and Brad had reached out to me if I wanted to try out their hand massager. And I was like, well, that aligns perfectly because I'm in pain right now. So sure, yes, please send over one of the units. I'd love to try it. So I have that here to share with you guys. So they did kindly gift me this unit. So I did a combination of resting from small circumferences. So nothing that had a small, even socks, like nothing that had a small circumference. And then I started doing the massages on specifically my right hand was the one that was suffering, I guess. So I actually really liked this product. I really, really enjoyed it. But that was a bit of a full circle moment because in the real world, in my full-time job, I refer people to physical therapy all the time. I work in healthcare, and Bob and Brad is a is a physical therapist founded brand. So I was like, that's such a full circle moment that now I'm using physical therapy products in my knitting videos and in the knitting world. That's kind of crazy to me. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. They kindly gave me a discount code to share with all of you if this is something that you're interested in trying out. As a healthcare girly, I should say it is HSA and FSA eligible, so if you have funds that need to be used before the end of the year, this is a really good option. It has a few different massage modes. My favorite is the one that focuses on your wrist and palms. So there's fingers, palms, and wrist. So the wrist and palm mode is my favorite, just to like really get in there, and it does have heating options as well. I was thinking it's going to be a really good Christmas gift, so I'm going to order one with my discount code for my workplace is White Elephant Gift Exchange. I think whoever receives it would love having a hand massager. I think that's a perfect gift idea. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with all of you guys. I found it really helpful. Another thing is that I find it really relaxing at the end of the day. So it helps me kind of fall asleep as well, because I struggle falling asleep. So I'm already in bed and I just have this next to my pillow massaging my hand, and I have like my sleeping background music on, and it just has been a really nice routine. So I'm trying to incorporate that most nights. Mostly for my right hand, but I'll try and do my left hand every now and then. And I think it's a really great way to take care of our hands and our joints. And if you're like me and sometimes overdo it, I think this has been really helpful. So I'll leave the discount code, and it is an affiliate link. So I do make a very small commission if you choose to use that link. But I'll have that listed here on the screen, and I'll put that in the description box below as well. So carrying on, so back to the sleeve saga, I decided to go at it a second time and kind of really spaced out those decreases a lot more. But then what I noticed is that my cable was looking off. So I think my row tension or gauge had tightened up a lot from the top here where you create the saddle, as opposed to in the sleeves. So my braid was looking really tight, and I just wasn't a fan of it. And most of the time I'm not super nitpicky with my knitting. Like, I go with the flow with all the little mistakes, but for whatever reason I want this project to look how I have my vision in my brain. So I decided to frog it again. So this time I was only about half of the way into the sleeve, so at least it was better than 2/3. So I frogged it again, and I decided to add in an extra row before each cable twist, so that way my braid would look a little bit more open. And I love how this turned out. And the third time around, I made more modifications to the decreases. So here you can see all my little clips and pins and everything. I marked all of my decreases, so when I make my second sleeve, it'll be a lot easier for me to replicate it exactly the same way. All in all, I think this turned, the third one was a charm. And again, taking breaks, using my hand massager. I'll be honest, I'm still a bit apprehensive to do the second sleeve, but it needs to get done. But anyways, I managed. I did that second sleeve. The other piece that I've done, I did my first button band. So this one has a cable running down the center. It's hard to show with this color, but this is worked up so quickly. I actually did all of this last night. I was watching the new Frankenstein movie. Great movie. The cinematography is really good. I didn't expect less from Guillermo del Toro. I think he's a wonderful director. Just a forewarning, there are some graphic bits in the beginning. I work with surgeons, so I'm used to hearing people talk about that kind of stuff and, you know, the surgery world. But if you're not used to it, I think I was impressed by the amount of blood and like realistic surgery going at it type of deal that you see. So just be forewarned if that's not your cup of tea. But even if you fast forward through all of that, I think the movie was very, very well done. So I did my button band while I was watching Frankenstein last night, and it turned out great. So as you can see, it has the little cable here in the middle. This is my first time doing a button band, and it worked out perfectly. So next, I'm wondering if I should do the other button band first or the sleeve. I might do the button band and then the collar, and then lastly do the sleeve. I'm not sure, we'll see. But I really, really want to try and finish up these two garments because I need to finish. I really want to finish a garment and just have something different on the needles. So let's talk a bit about some changes to my fall plans, because these are the only two WIPs I have right now, actually. So for my fall plans, I had my Candelaria blouse, which is almost done. I have my Beatrix cardigan, which is about halfway done. I had my Firth sweater, which is my next cast on. I really do want to finish that one, or like make that one, I guess. And I also had a Griottes blouse, which now at this point I'm kind of unsure as to whether or not I'll be making it. TBD. I have not made up my mind yet. But as far as accessories, I was going to make the velvet mirror cowl, which will no longer happen because I'm repurposing that yarn for something else. I also had the Uvia fingerless mitts. They're colorwork fingerless mittens, and I don't want to do colorwork right now. I think the colorwork blouse, or like in the Candelaria, really just took it out of me, and I'm not in the mood. So I decided to substitute with the Anthology mitts by Alicia Plummer. She had a sale a couple months ago, and I picked those up for 50% off. They're cabled fingering weight mitts, so I can still use my Ruby and Roses blue yarn that I had anticipated. The alpaca yarn, I don't know, it'll find a use eventually. So I still do want to make those because I really want and need, I guess, another pair of fingerless mitts. So my plans are, in the month of November, I really just want to focus on, I mean, yes, I need to make that last headband, but finishing up these two garments, and then just working on my Firth sweater and my Anthology mitts to try and wrap up the fall plans, and then hopefully kind of go in fresh for the winter plans in December. So that's kind of my plans. I had to make some, modifications to the order of things, which is totally fine. But yeah, there we are. I think that has been quite a bit of progress. I just have two small little acquisitions to share with you guys today. And the first one is actually hanging right here. This is a beautiful little sock set from Salty Blonde Fine Fibers. So every year she puts out a pumpkin inspired sock set, and I really, really liked the one that she did this year. This is called Moody but Gourd, like gorgeous. I think that was a super cute play on words. And it is this very moody, which I love moody colors. We'll see if I can get this to focus. It's kind of reminding me of Albert Ritchell from ZZ Textiles, which actually is up here too. So let's compare the two. It's stuck. No. Come on. So here are the two. You can see Moody but Gorgeous has a lot more greens in it versus LB has a lot more blue. But I really liked it, and then it has this beautiful little pink contrast. So I was thinking I really would like to try a toe-up Flegel heel sock with this, and then maybe do a bit of a cabled cuff with the pink. And I want to do these a little bit longer than most of my socks, and I just think that would be really fun. I hope to cast these on in the near future, but I don't think it'll happen right away, which is okay. This cost me $36 for the set. I feel like Salty Blonde is one of those brands that's very nostalgic for me because it was my very first ever indie dyed yarn order. So whenever I order from her, I kind of remember that beginner knitter who was so excited to buy her first indie dyed yarn. And so that's very special for me. And I just really liked this little drop that she put out for the sock set. So that is my first little acquisition. And then I have a second little acquisition. This one is a bit more practical. So Toby Lipsky had a update to her Happy Place yarn collaboration with Hobbi. I think the first one happened maybe like a year and a half ago, because I remember I bought quite a bit. That's what I made my first knit and crochet sweaters with. And it is a blend of 50% cotton, 50% wool, super wash yarn, DK weight. And she did an update with new colors and full restocks and things like that. Actually, really like Happy Place for baby knits and for gift knits. And I think it's a really affordable yet comfortable yarn. And I still have a little bit of Happy Place left in my stash. I have a bit of blue and gray, but I will be using those for baby gift knits. I think I need to start those in January. So I'm finishing up my headband, and after that I don't want to do any gift knits of any way, shape, or form for the rest of the year. That's going to be just knitting for me. And then in January, I'll start the baby knits for my friend. I think she's due in March. And then there's a co-worker. So for my friend, I'm going to make both a little sweater and a hat. But for my other co-worker who's pregnant, I'm not that close to her, so I'll just make her a little hat, which is fine. So I was going to use that up, and this is a yarn that I kind of like to have on hand when gift knits like that pop up without having to like order and things like that. So I decided to pick up a few skeins. So the first one is actually for my niece. I had my sister pick out a color to make a cardigan for my niece for next year, probably when she turns 1, and she picked up this cocoa color. So I'm sure that's not what it's called. Let's see if it has a name on here. It just says color number 28. It doesn't have a name on there, but this is from the solid, because there's a solid and there's like a heathered, I don't know what the word is, but it's heathered. So this is like a coffee cocoa. It's like a warm cocoa color. So I picked up 2 balls of this. So I'll make her a little cardigan. This is the blue. This is the solid blue, color number 13. So this is in case I have 2 of these as well. And then I picked up a pink. I didn't pick up the pale pastel pink. I picked up this more like purpley pink, which I think is really cute. This is the color number 17. So 2 of each to have ready for little kiddos in my life for whenever I need them. This is a really affordable, these are like really big balls. These are 100-gram balls with how many yards? Let's see, with 273 yards in them. And the full retail price is $10 per ball. She did have a 20% discount code going for the first couple of days. So that kind of helped offset taxes and tariffs. I tried to do the math. The tariffs were about 5%. It was a very odd specific percentage number that came up. So I don't know what that's about. But after the little discount, they came out to $9 each. So $9 for 100 grams is an incredible price. And it's at least in the baby garments and adult garments that I've made, it's held up very well, and it's very comfortable, especially for my climate, since it has that extra cotton in it. So yeah, those were the 2 yarn orders that I have received. I am kind of thinking of the changes that I want to make with my knitting for the next year, how I'm going to structure my goals, how I'm going to structure my seasonal plans. I really want to expand my hobby. Hint, hint. I think it might be time to try spinning, and I also want to kind of solidify my sewing skills. I already kind of know how to sew, but I really want to expand my hobby next year, and kind of been thinking of all of that and how I want to share it with you all. So we're heading into the holiday season. There's going to be a lot of exciting videos coming up. So my next one will be my winter plans. I know a lot of people kind of meshed their fall and winter plans this year. I'm still keeping mine separate because it's not cold here. So yeah, it didn't make sense in my brain for me personally. So I have my winter plans coming up. Did like my favorites of 2025. Did I reach my knitting goals? I'm very excited to put that one together. Everything I knit. I'm so excited to film my very first Everything I Knit in 2025 video. I've been looking forward to that one for a long time. My goals for 2025, like I have a lot of fun videos that I'm very excited to make coming up, so please make sure that you're subscribed if you don't want to miss out on all of the fun. Thank you so much for all of your kind comments, like, support, subscribes. This channel has been such a joy to watch grow this year, and hopefully I can continue to do this for much more time to come. So thank you so much for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me. Don't forget, if you want to try out your own hand massager or gift it to somebody for Christmas, there will be an extra discount for you in the description bar. And until the next one, happy knitting. I will see you soon. Bye.